In this challenge, I'm going to try running 5 kilometers every single day for 30 days. But little did I know that things would go in a totally different direction. Stay tuned. But first, let me let you in on why I'm actually doing this. My greatest fear had come true. My father had left this world without seeing his last-born son achieve anything. And that put me in one of the worst mental states I could have ever imagined. As kids, we all have dreams of growing up and giving our parents the world. But there's a moment where we all realize this. For me, I remember every kid in the neighborhood had bicycles but me. And then one day, my father came back from work and said, "Why don't you go look in the bus?" And lo and behold, there was a bicycle there. That became one of the most happiest moments of my life, and that's when it clicked. But now, that dream will never come true. And I later found out that somebody was taking pictures at the funeral, and I was visible in one of them. And I was like, is that really me? It's fair to say I was a bit disappointed, and something had to change. And then one day, I came across this guy.
You don't know me, son.
David Goggins.
Don't stop when you're tired. Stop when you're done. You know how to do it. You know exactly how to be you. 22. Who's gonna carry the boats and the logs? Who are you on those days? When shit's all fucked up. That's the great divide. Those people who get up on those days when everything's fucked up and still grind, that's the separator right there. Stay hard.
Now, I was extremely inspired by this guy because he highlighted how running can help build mental strength and discipline. And at that moment, that's exactly what I needed. Let's just say day one already was pretty interesting. Let me explain. Now, to avoid giving myself any excuses and ultimately backing out of the challenge, I just put on my shoes and I went running. But the thing about this run, and I remember it so vividly, is that a kilometer in, I was already finished.
I'm at that point. I'm extremely tired. Oh my God.
My breathing was all over the place, my chest was on fire, and that alone should let you know how out of shape I was. So those thoughts started creeping in. Why am I doing this again? Let's just stop and rest for a moment. Well, that's when I realized how weak-minded I was, and it made me sick. It's me against me. It's always been. So from that moment, I told myself, I gotta lock in.
Fuck me. Damn. Oh. I'll see you guys tomorrow.
Day 2, I woke up and my whole body was sore.
1 kilometer in. I'm a bit tired.
But for some reason, it kind of felt good walking off the pain. I don't know, maybe it's just me being weird. As for the run, I still experienced the same difficulties as I did the previous day.
2 more to go. 4 kilometers. 1 more to go. Oh, come on. Yeah. Damn.
Day 3 along with day 4, things started to get a bit easier.
Stay 3. Stay 4.
But again, I was still in constant battle with my mind about not stopping even though I was really tired. And what I've realized on this day is that there's a certain barrier of tiredness, and once you break through that barrier, for the rest of the run, it feels a lot easier. Day 5, this is when my feet started hurting. But it wasn't because I was tired or anything, it was because of the shoes I was wearing. They really started feeling uncomfortable.
1 kilometer, 6 minutes, 30 seconds.
I was just hitting the ground way too hard, and some little bubbles started forming around my toes. It was extremely weird.
2 kilometers, 8 minutes, 8 seconds.
But I didn't have any money to buy some new shoes, so it was something I had to endure.
Lap 3, 6 minutes, 14 seconds. 4 kilometers, 6 minutes and something seconds. I don't quite hear the time. Final lap, 9 minutes 14 seconds.
This is when I started introducing stretching because I wasn't doing it, and apparently it's very important and you have to do it before the run and after the run.
Stay 6. Let's go.
Because by this point I was just freestyling, man. I was just going with the flow. I wasn't doing things properly, but now I'm invested. I'm starting to do a lot of research about running, and stretching is extremely important.
1 kilometer, 6 minutes 38 seconds. 2 kilometers, 6 minutes 3 seconds. Let's go. 3 kilometers, 6 minutes 41 seconds. Whew. 4 kilometers, 6 minutes 20 seconds. Whew. 5 kilometers, 7 minutes 17 seconds.
Day 7, I came to a realization on why runners run. You see, for the past 6 days when I was running, it felt more like I can't wait to just get this one over with, whereas on this particular day, I wasn't so much focused on running because my mind was just clear. Usually, I'm always thinking, and I tend to overthink about the past, the future, and my thoughts end up moving at such a fast pace that I have trouble shutting it all off. And as a result, I get a lot of headaches. So it felt really peaceful to just slow down in that moment. It may not sound like much, but I've been chasing peace of mind for as long as I can remember, and it turns out all I had to do was go running. There's no better feeling than after a run and you tell yourself, you actually did something today, man. The energy and confidence you get is unbelievable. You may not look it, but on the inside, you feel like you're glowing, and I love that. Day 8, my brother bought me some running shoes. I just couldn't anymore with the event. The impact on my feet was just way better, and I even got my personal best duration, and it really got me hyped. Day 9, I felt my hamstring feeling kind of uncomfortable, but it didn't stop me from finishing the run, and I was definitely slower than usual. Another thing I like about running is that your body will let you know if you did something wrong, especially during the run. Let's just say the tight hamstring wasn't the only reason I was slow. The previous day, I ate some chips, and for my chest, it felt like day 1 all over again. I just could not get my breathing in check. So eat healthy. Lesson learned.
Today's day 10. Let's go.
My hamstring continued being uncomfortable, but I improved my pace.
1 kilometer, 6 minutes 46 seconds.
Because I was extremely disappointed with the previous day, it's fair to say I may have pushed myself a little bit, but we move.
2 kilometers, 6 minutes 2 seconds. 3 kilometers, 7 minutes 4 seconds. 4 kilometers, 7 minutes 12 seconds. 5 kilometers, 7 minutes 48 seconds. Today's day 11. Let's go.
This is when my left knee started acting up, so I thought it's normal, I'll probably just run it off and everything would be fine. But things didn't go as planned. The knee just kept on bugging me, but what I'm proud of is the fact that not once did I stop during the run. I just kept on going even though it really hurt, but I was slower than usual. Eventually, I finished the run, but at what cost? Day 12, I woke up and I could barely walk. Like genuinely, I literally got off my bed and fell on the floor. I could not believe what was happening. So I sat there with disappointment and I started crying. But it wasn't the pain I was crying about. And trust me, the pain was there. It was more of this familiar feeling of failure that got me. Because I knew I wasn't going to be able to run that day, thus marking this challenge as a fail. Let's just say today's not a good day. So that's what happened. Eventually, as the day went on, it became easier to walk, but my knee was just really in pain. The best way I can describe it is that it felt loose and something was clicking. Now at this point you're probably wondering, why don't you just go to the doctor and have it checked out? Well, doctors cost money, and I didn't have any. So I did what any broke person would do. Avoid the problem and pray it goes away. That's the saying, isn't it?
Oh yeah, that's my favorite saying. That's my favorite saying.
But out of curiosity, I went on Google and described how I was feeling and came to the conclusion that it could be runner's knee, and the recovery time was estimated to be around 3 days. So I took some painkillers and I waited.
3 days later.
I caught the flu. How did this happen? We're in the summer too, and I don't know about you guys, but catching flu in the summer is one of the worst things that could happen to a person. And it really put me down. So those thoughts started creeping in. I must be cursed or something. Like genuinely, I can't seem to get a win. It's really difficult to keep a positive mindset after taking a loss. But you just gotta keep picking yourself up every single time. And I feel that it's important to add that on the days I wasn't running, to keep myself from slipping into thinking negatively and feeling sorry for myself, I would randomly do push-ups or sit-ups, or, this one is my favorite, I would literally go on a walk midday when the sun is blazing hot. And to be honest, from the outside looking in, you'll probably think I was crazy. But hey, it was working for me, so don't knock it till you try it. Finally, the flu was the thing of the past, and I was feeling a lot better. And in terms of my knee, well, I wasn't 100%, and I kind of felt like I wasn't part of the challenge anymore. So I decided, you know what, I'm just gonna go running. Unfortunately, I only ran 100 meters until one of these happened. You know that moment when you're running and you feel like your whole leg kind of disables? That's exactly what happened, and I got so scared thinking, whoa, I may have broken my knee here. At this point, I started thinking of scrapping the whole video. But I decided not to because I want to document this journey to the fullest. I know it's disappointing starting off with an L, but what if you guys try to do something like this and God forbid, something similar happens to you? I want you to know that you're not alone. And if I can inspire just one person, that'll be alright with me. On the night of the 28th day, I prayed to God to give me the strength to finish this challenge on a high. And guess what happened? On the 29th day, I spent the whole day stretching out to make sure that I was fine and all, and I went running in the afternoon.
Alright people, I'm gonna try again. I still feel a bit uncomfortable, but I'm gonna try. Let's go, it's good to be back.
So a kilometer in, I'm feeling alright. 2 kilometers in, it starts raining. And at that moment, you could not wipe the smile off my face because it was just such a surreal moment. I wish you guys can feel what I felt that day. It was peaceful, it was just me, the road, and my music. I remember what song I was listening to as well. It was 03 Adolescence by J. Cole, the live version. You guys need to check that out. It's actually fire. So I was just gliding, man. I wasn't worried about anything at that point. And everything just felt right, man. And it felt reassuring that the previous day I prayed God to give me the strength to finish this challenge on the high. And that's exactly what happened. So day 29, by far the best running experience I've had this far. On the final day, I did go running and I did do the full 5K.
1 kilometer, 4 minutes 40 seconds. 2 kilometers, 4 minutes 20 seconds.
But unfortunately, the knee pain returned.
3 kilometers, 4 minutes 11 seconds. I'm in pain now. The pain is coming back. But I want to finish this.
At this point, it feels like something I have to manage, but I'm definitely not gonna stop here.
4 kilometers, 6 minutes 40 seconds.
Because running has actually changed my life to some extent. I would say mentally and physically, I'm in a better place than I was when I started this challenge.
5 kilometers, 5 minutes 40 seconds. Yeah.
Looking back, I'd say if I started stretching a bit earlier and had some running shoes, I could have avoided the injury. But what I will say is the fact that I started, because sometimes we tend to tell ourselves, you know what, I'm probably gonna wait until I buy this or that, not knowing that there will never be a perfect time to start. That's the best advice I can give you. And if you asked me now, if I had to redo this challenge knowing very well that I'm gonna get hurt in the process, would I do it again? And the answer is absolutely. Because I've learned a lot throughout this journey. I know it's sad that I didn't get to complete it, but I still learned a lot. It's been 3 weeks as I'm recording this, and I'm happy to say I'm running again. Because this is my thing now. This is my therapy. And I would recommend that you guys do it as well if you're going through the same things. With that being said, subscribe to the channel, leave a like. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.